You've invested time in creating, your vision for your homeschool. You understand clearly where you're heading. The path is clear, and you understand why you're homeschooling and what you want to get from the days that you have with your kids. You've gone and created goals from that vision, and you're feeling really fired up and ambitious and ready to attack some of these goals. What do you do? This video is going to explain how having a really thought out and purposeful routine is completely integral to stepping towards your vision, achieving your goals, and having a really well-rounded homeschool year. Hey there, my name is Tiffany and this is Hint Life Homeschool. My channel is all about homeschooling, mindset, and organization. If you haven't already, make sure that you've subscribed, hit the bell so you get notifications for future videos. This video is the final video for my Chaos to Clarity series that I created. If you haven't watched the previous videos, I encourage you to go back and watch from the start because it is a process, and I've created all these printables that you can print out and complete with your family so that you can have clarity in your homeschool. I know from having spoken to so many homeschoolers that the word routine can instill a sense of panic in some of us. Some people really love a routine and they're used to that. They grew up with that, and it's just kind of, it's almost like, a structured day. But then others see it as being something that's restrictive and prevents them from doing what they want and following what their interests are. And it absolutely can be that, but it also can be incredibly freeing as well. And I'm going to explain to you how a routine can actually really help kids like mine that have ADHD. I have ADHD myself, and a routine has absolutely saved my sanity, saved my ability to homeschool my kids. It has created a sense of structure. And look, honestly, it could be considered as a rhythm. I see rhythm and routine kind of hand in hand. And I know that some people don't see that. So that's why I'm mentioning it. So you could call it a rhythm if you feel like the routine is just so taboo and you don't feel like that speaks to you. That's totally okay. But essentially we're talking about the same thing. We're talking about having a sense of when you wake up and it's Monday, you know what's kind of coming. You know instinctively that Monday we do this, and how that can be such a really healthy way of approaching time and managing time. And I'm going to be explaining all of this in today's video. So I am already assuming that you've worked out your vision and you've created your goals for your homeschool, and you know where you're heading and you know what you want to achieve. And with that, it's about balancing out and figuring out what you're going to do on what days, essentially, with your routine. And this enables you to be more accountable for working towards the things that you want to do, and also to gauge your habit shifting. So creating some healthy habits that maybe you didn't have before, but you want to gently introduce into your homeschool. And I emphasize gentle. We are not about changing everything, changing what our days look like, completely morphing our homeschool and our routines and all of that kind of thing. We're not like completely starting fresh here. We need to essentially keep a sense of familiarity when we're introducing new routines, and just gently introduce maybe like one new thing per day, and go gentle. And I say that because of the children that I have, that it doesn't work very well to just kind of like start fresh. And in my experience, speaking to friends and family and lots of other homeschoolers that have asked for advice and things like that, it doesn't work for them either, just completely changing what your days look like. Firstly, you need to work out, and I've got a printable that goes with this video, so please feel free to go down into the description box and follow that link, and you can access the library that I've created for Freely Homeschool Planner. and it will allow you to download, it will give you access to the library. It will allow you to download anything from that library, which is the entire course of the Chaos to Clarity homeschooling series. And it will have today's theme, which is routine, in there as well. And you can download that printable and fill that out. It's very basic, but it will just help you kind of see how you can balance things a little more. And I think that it needs to be said that having a routine doesn't restrict you from doing spontaneous things. We should not be scheduling out every minute of every day. We should absolutely be leaving space for free play, space for outside, space for invitations to friends' places or meetups. We should definitely allow space for spontaneity in our days. It is a very boring life if we have everything scheduled out. Like a school, what's the point? We're homeschooling. We deserve to have freedom within our days. That freedom can undo us if we lose sight of the bigger picture, which is our vision and the goals that we want to achieve. If those are not in our front of mind, then we're not going to be achieving anything. We're not working towards anything. And that's what we want, right? We want to see little steps towards progress within our homeschool. We want to feel like we're chipping away at that vision and what we're achieving. We want some habit shifts. We want to move forward with our studies and our accomplishments and all of those kinds of things. And the problem here is that if we don't have, I discovered that if we don't have a routine, something that kind of makes us accountable to achieving, stepping towards that vision and those goals, then what we're doing is we're just kind of running around aimlessly, and we're doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I just remembered I thought we were going to achieve this by the end of the month, but we haven't even started it yet. So, and then we're like kind of just mishmashing things together, and it becomes very aimless, and it also becomes very resentful. We can become really resentful of that freedom in a way, because we just don't have any structure. And we all crave structure. We might not see it that way, but essentially when we feel like we're not working towards anything, we're feeling like we're failing in our homeschool because, I'm just not getting anything done, and we're not, it feels like we've done nothing. That's generally what we're craving, is structure. So that is why I came back to routine. And that is actually why I was so keen to create something in my planner, Freely Homeschool Planner, because this was the result of many years of just kind of feeling like everything just seems hard. And so you can definitely do this on paper. I'm not saying that you have to have Freely Homeschool Planner in order to achieve this. You can absolutely create a routine on paper, and that is totally fine. The other thing I really love about making a routine is collaborating with our kids. So if we're involving our kids and in the process of creating our vision and our goals, we should absolutely be involving them in creating our routine as well. And the way that we can do that is by actually putting it in together. So whatever you use to create a routine, even if it's just pen and paper, that's totally fine, but have it visible for the kids. So I usually screen share my homeschool planner on our TV, so they have a visual of that throughout the day, and they can see that things are getting ticked off as we're working through. The activities turn green when they're being completed, and they can visually see that their day is almost done, and then they can go and do their personal projects or whatever it is that they want to do, or we can go out, whatever. But they can visually see what we're working towards these things. And I really love that, because it also allows us to create the routine together as well. And that essentially changes the mindset of my kids. They feel like they are being involved in the decision making. So they already know. It's not like I'm telling them what we're doing. It's like, well, remember we discussed we're going to start doing this on Mondays and this on Tuesdays. And it's already part of their mindset. They're already expecting it, and they're like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we discussed that. We're doing this, this, and this. And there's no surprises, because kids don't really like surprises when it means more work or, more things to do that might interrupt their other plans that they have for their day. The other thing I really personally love about routine in Freely is that it doesn't necessarily need to be related to schoolwork or anything like that. And it shouldn't for you either if you're creating your routine. You could actually make your routine around things that you want to incorporate more of. So for example, it could be just like free writing time, or journaling, or affirmations. Like break it down. If these are little things that you really want to start doing, you can definitely incorporate that and have it listed. You need to have it there so you remember. So write it down and make it count. Otherwise, it's just going to get forgotten about, especially when you've got a couple of things and you're anticipating maybe some resistance to some of those things. And, we've just, once we're in that process of actually executing homeschooling, we don't want to have to try and rely on our brains to remember things, because it's just simply too much to do. Now, I have created a video around routine before on how you can break your subjects up and how you might want to approach creating a routine in your homeschool. And you can absolutely go and watch that. I'll tag it above. But this video was more about just kind of solidifying the vision and the goals and thinking about incorporating those things into your homeschool, especially if they're not necessarily educational goals. They're more might be like life skill goals, or they might be just goals for mindset and attitude and approaches to life and things like that. So those things can actually be quite tricky to figure out, and routine is actually a really great way to incorporate those things in there, and just to remember that those are things that you really want to work towards. Now, when you're thinking of like educational goals are really important to be mindful of and prioritize. So when you're looking at all of them, some will jump out and go, well, that is definitely the priority for now. But you have a whole year to achieve these things. You have more than a year to achieve these things. Don't get me wrong, but let's just kind of baby steps. Think about, okay, we're talking about this year. Let's think about how we can break these up into maybe a month or maybe a group of weeks. I do like a group of 10 weeks at a time. And that tends to be really helpful because thinking smaller just makes it easier for planning. So I tend to start off with that, and then I just kind of see how we go, because there's no point in planning the whole year, the rest of the year out, and things are already rocky to begin with, and we feel like this isn't working and I've done all this work, and we become resentful because it's not working how we wanted it to. And then we just abandon it completely. We don't want that. So the way we avoid that, I think, is to just start off with a couple of weeks at a time, a couple of months at a time, and then leave it at that. See how you go, reassess, check in, and make any changes that you need to, and then plan the next round of weeks or months. And this is something that I've been doing for quite a few years now, and it really does work. Some things I might go, well, yes, that's going to be for the rest of the year, and sports or things like commitments that I really know are just absolutely, they're in there, that's what we're doing, it's a definite yes, then absolutely, that's fine. But essentially, when you're chipping away at goals and things like that, you don't know necessarily how long it's going to take to achieve the success that you want or what that looks like. So just kind of planning 10 weeks at a time for me personally has been vital, has been the key to feeling like I have a sense of control over how we achieve that and how we're going with that, and checking in. It's just that reminder. After 10 weeks, I can check in with that and see where we're at, how I feel about that, how the kids feel about that, and then keep going. And I do involve my kids in that as well, just like little conversations. How do you think we're going with this? Or, any particular goals that they've made for themselves, we can check in. And that is really an incredible addition to our homeschooling as well, because I actually record those conversations, in the sense of that I write notes about the conversations that we've had, and it really helps me to kind of reflect back on as well. I also want you to remember that None of this, none of us, no homeschooler has it all figured out. And no one just goes in and has the perfect year just because they planned it that way. Things pop up, life is life, and it just blows up in our face sometimes. And that is why I think having a system to get things back under control, and also just understanding where our priorities lie so that we can just focus on those priorities for a period of time that might be difficult, is why I did this series, to understand what is really important, to just prioritize those things is a huge gift. To know that, okay, I'm really busy right now, things are really hard, something has happened, this is what I need to do. To have that clarity is really important when most of us, it's all on us. If we're homeschooling, we don't have a teacher's aide, we don't have a principal, we don't have someone that we can just call in sick to, or just say, oh, I need someone to step in here and help out. A lot of us don't have that. So this is why I created this series, to just get some clarity around what really is important to our kids and to us for our homeschool. And so that if something does blow up in our face this year, we are prepared because we've done the work to understand where we're at, where we want to be, and how we're going to get there. And you can still step towards those things, even if they're teeny tiny little steps, because something has happened and it's making it really hard. That's okay. We're still moving forward, and we still understand what is important, and nothing is going to rock that. Nothing is going to change that view if that's what's really in our heart. So I hope that you've taken that from this series. I hope that you've gotten a bit more clarity from this series. That's really what was in my heart with creating that. I have a special discount for Freely Homeschool Planner for all of you. In the description box down below, there is a link, and you'll get taken to get 20% off for Freely Homeschool Planner if you subscribe through that link. It'll be automatically applied, and you also get 14 days free trial. You don't have to pay anything up front. It is just 14 days free trial. If you like it, then you can choose to pay for the year or monthly with 20% off of the price. Thank you for joining me in this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.